Then give us a
Sorry for that, lads. It was a bit of a technical issue we were facing with the streaming side, but yeah, we are back for the sprint and for the one shot first. And yeah, I think we should just head on into the lobby because it's been a while already, and yeah, let's not dilly dally around further. So yeah, having a look at the grid, I think we have a lot of people racing today. And Aidsel, what are your thoughts on the format? Back to what I was going to ask you before stream died.
the sprint format is quite exciting. It definitely offers more opportunities for drivers all over the grid to salvage something from the race. So it gives drivers who may have potentially lost out in the first race or in the sprint race to make up a little bit in the second race. So
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah, that is correct. It's always nice to when you get a second chance, coming back from a mistake you make in a previous session. So you get that second opportunity and a second bite of the cherry, if you will, to get the podium or get a good haul of points in. So yeah, it also brings the championship a bit closer because there are more points at stake. And yeah, it's just going to be more racing, and more racing always means more drama on this game from what we've seen so far. So yeah, it's always a good addition, I feel.
I think the coordinators have made a good effort in choosing tracks, the right tracks for the sprint race as well, because Bahrain is just one of those tracks that always produces action. I don't think I can remember a league race at Bahrain where it's just been sort of DRS train, everybody follows each other, and there you go, that's the end of the race. I mean, we've had races in previous seasons where we've had only 9 or 10 drivers on the grid. I remember Tier-1 last season was just 11 drivers, and still we had probably one of the most exciting races of the season at Bahrain. So, yeah, I really love this track. It may not be the easiest to drive, especially on no assists. I think you can testify to that.
Yep.
But it always produces a great race for spectators, and I think the challenging prospect of the track makes for an all the more exciting race.
Yeah, absolutely. And the nature of the circuit is such as where you can get a lot of different lines through to the drive in front of you, where you can get a cutback line or go around the outside or inside, make moves at places where you would not expect these cars to sit in. So yeah, very nice layout, which promotes more good racing. And we just have the lobby getting ready. And for the weather, I think yeah, it's a standard that Bahrain, being a desert, is got no chance of rain. So it's going to be an occasional, a very common dry race which you're going to see. But that's not going to deter away from the drama which you will see because, as we said, track is brilliant, brilliant for racing. So one shot qualifying is soon going to proceed. Just 30 seconds left on the clock for that. And yeah, how do you think these drivers are going to tackle one shot qualifying? Because a very rare session which these drivers have to take part in, because we don't follow it quite often. I don't think we have in a while on IRC. So the way you set up your car is it's going to be mostly for the race. So how do you tackle? You just get one opportunity at a lap.
The one shot quali is definitely an interesting prospect because the drivers get a single flying lap to set a time. So it's kind of sort of double jeopardy because you have, it's a double edged sword. You can either set an absolute banger on the lap and get P1, or if you spin and have some sort of an incident to invalidate your lap, you don't get a second chance. As we're seeing a lot of drivers changing places all
Yep.
throughout it. You can see the level of variation that's happening. You can see a lot of drivers moving up and down the grid. That's kind of the magic of one-shot quali. We can get a live timing of just how the drivers are doing. So as it stands, Shawshank at the end of Sector 1 is on provisional pole for now, but things can change quite fast in one-shot quali because obviously if you have some sort of a spin or an invalidation, instantly you get a disqualification and you are starting from the back. So it's not ideal. Still going through turn 10 now, difficult corner onto the back straight, DRS open. This is going to be an important overtaking zone. Obviously, if you get it right through sector 2 and you stay right on the back of the car ahead, you can get an overtaking opportunity into turn 11, which is right here. And then it's a difficult part of the track where you have to manage sort of tire wear and also traction, because it's very easy to lose the rear end here coming through sector 3. Now onto a small back straight just before the final corner, and we're seeing two Williams up in the top 3. I believe that's Trey and Strendy in P2 and 3, and Shawshank on pole still as we round the final corner now. important traction zone once again as we pass underneath the billboard, past the DRS detection and into the...
Oh, what a lap.
Yeah, that was a stonking lap.
Oh my god. That's a nearly 4 tenths clear. 6 tenths clear rather.
6 tenths clear, yeah.
It's a stonking lap.
But yeah, after one shot quali, Shawshank is your pole position holder, and I believe it was a Williams lockout for the rest of the top three, because we have Strendy in P2 and Stray in P3. So Williams find themselves in a very, very good starting position for the sprint race. We have Ritesh in P4, Baked Potato P5, Existence in P6, Pirate SG in P7, Sager in P8, Facecrack P9, and SWATCat rounds off the P10. Top 10, Duke, Lelouch, Abi20, Joseiro, Heisenberg. He's not finding himself in optimum position, but I think he invalidated his lap because of 138
seconds
off pace. PK19, Maverick Loki, 8J, and Monk round off the top 20. But yeah, an interesting one-shot quali, and after one-shot quali, we'll be heading to our 10-lap sprint race, in which the top 8 drivers get points. So we will just have a quick rundown of the points. So you get 8 points for P1, and each position after that gets a point less, all the way up into P8, which gets a single point. And of course, fastest lap is awarded to any driver who finishes within the top 10 and has the fastest lap will get a point. So yeah, a lot on the line here for a sprint race. It's not just a case of the sprint race just being a way of setting up the qualifying order for the final, for the feature race. So it's interesting to also see how the drivers will set themselves up. Obviously, I think it's just a case of going on one tire compound. I think it's just the softs and just lasting the 10 laps.
Maybe I'd have to disagree with you there, because the softs might actually just die out for the end. It is a 10 lapper, and from what we've seen on this game, the softs generally tend to die out in within 6 or 7 laps. So the medium tire might actually be the more favorable compound to go for the sprint race, because the tire wear will be really high. I think, Sai, there might be an issue with the stream, or maybe you've paused it because we can't see the screen right now. So let me just go back.
As we are getting underway with the sprint race in Tier 2, it's going to be an exciting prospect, and we are definitely looking forward to it. Just waiting on the lobby now to ready up. I think everybody's getting their setups ready, etc.
Okay, I still can't see the stream on my end. I don't know if it's the same for you.
I think the race has gotten underway.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we are back. Sorry about that, folks. Just a bit of an issue. As we see an Alpine just spinning out. That is Ritesh Singh, who did win the last race in Australia. Not having a good start to the sprint race. I think we missed the first couple of corners. But yeah, cutting back to that incident of the Alpine just spinning out, I think he lost control there. But more importantly, Shawshank, a pole sitter with a stonking lap for 28.9, has dropped to P13, so a disastrous start for the Ferrari driver there. And I think the safety car's out, or maybe that's a VSC. I'm not sure. I don't see the dot for the safety car on the screen.
Yeah,
on the
so
track
that might
map,
be that might be a VSC. But more importantly, Existence has retired coming out of turn 3, and his car has disappeared. Obviously, I was seeing it on the minimap, and he has retired from the race. But since he was retired in such a position, it might be a safety car. No, actually, it's gone green already. So VSC has ended. So we're back to racing speed now. As
Strandy's already pulled up 2.1 seconds. Yeah, the Williams of Strandy is looking very strong here, already 1.7 seconds ahead. Can we go to Baked Potato? He seems to be shaping up a move on the Williams of Shrey just in front of him. Thanks for that. On board the Alfa Romeo, glistening under the lights here at Bahrain. He's not engaging ZRS, but he does seem to have a straight line advantage, maybe a lower drag setup as opposed to the car in front of him. takes a very narrow line there and then backs out going out wide. So he's going to lose us some time from that. And yeah, he's fallen back 7-10. So a bit of a semi-chaotic start. Some drivers, two drivers in the pits. It's Heisenberg and Abhi20. Ooh, both these drivers have had horrible luck this season, and I think that case has continued into the sprint race as well.
So this is the beauty of the sprint format. It's that not all your hopes are pinned on a single race where you throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks. Obviously, there is that additional factor of the second main race as well. So think of this more as a sort of warm-up to get yourself in the mood for the main race, because the main race is, of course, the standard 50%. So this is more of like a little teaser of what we're going to expect in the main race. So a lot of overtaking action going on all over the place.
Yeah, Ritesh has seemed to have recovered very well. He's already up to P5 after that bit of an offing he had in the first lap. So yeah, good showing from the Alpine driver there, not getting bumped out after his incident. But yeah, following on board our pole sitter, who's finding himself in P11, already evidently has a pace advantage and all the drivers in front of him from the looks of it. So he's following Duke behind closely, and yeah, I think we can just go on with this the tires to see if anyone's taken to camel. I think I just saw an Alpha Tauri with a soft tire there. That could be kind of risky, but it can certainly pay off in the early stages of the race. So just go on to the tire graphic, have that enabled, and yeah, we're good to go. As the Red Bull already on the back of the Alpha Tauri, the soft tires are already dying out, so it hasn't even been 7 laps yet, and yeah, the soft tires are not taking it very well. As yeah, that's Face Crack, the winner of the first round, suffering on the soft tires. Does he have damage? I'm not quite sure. Maybe his wings been chipped off a bit, but yeah, the Red Bull is following keenly behind the Alpha Tauri.
A lot of racing action then in these opening couple of laps, and that's testament to the great quality of racing that we can expect at Bahrain. It always delivers. As the Red Bull there of Sager had a little look up the inside of Face Crack going into turn 8 as they come through turn 9. Now, difficult part of the circuit, especially if you're not running any assist. No, it looked like Lillouch had a little look again up the inside, but he got on the curb and that probably unsettled the car, and he backed out of it at the last moment, chooses to settle back into the slipstream for a while. But yeah, a little bit of a nervy moment there for the Alpha driver, but all good now. He still keeps the car on track and he's still well within the battle as he's all over the back of Sager right now, basically breathing down his diffuser, and this battle is popping off right now as it seems like Face Crack holding up 2 drivers behind him, much faster drivers. It seems like they're almost struggling to stay behind him with the pace that they're carrying.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sager's found himself in an alpha sandwich, if you will. With an alpha in front and an alpha in back. Maybe he's a beta in this one, but no, certainly not, as he gets to move down on the alpha in front of him as Face Crack's tires are slowly and surely dying out. So decent slipstream pass by the Red Bull, and yeah, the charge continues as he's left the session. Okay, that's a commentator's curse if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see, as one of the drivers just takes a brief dip out of the session, but he's still leading the pack. So Strendy is currently up at the front and quite clear as well. 4.5 seconds clear of Pirate SG and kind of cruising away with the victory here. So he'll take the 8 points in the sprint race, but all to play for in the main race.
I think Lelouch has also made a move on Sager. If we could just go on board that battle. Yeah, I think it was into turn the hairpin. I think turn 8. I'm not sure if that's the correct number. But yeah, the other Alpha has also gotten past, and yeah, Face Crack finds himself at the back of this train, which he was leading just a few laps ago. Going on board, yeah.
The race has settled down a bit now, but racing action all over the place. As Shrey makes a move on Pirate SG to make it a 1-2 for Williams. Dare I say Williams is back, but I don't want to say such slanderous things in the hopes that I do jinx the Williams driver slightly. But Shrey makes it a comfortable Williams P1 and 2 as Pirate SG just finds himself swamped by Williams drivers right now. Baked Potato also not too far behind the Harsh driver at this current moment in time. So Pirate SG needs to start picking up the pace or else he risks finding himself quite far behind. But he's still within the points for the sprint race. Obviously, you get points up until P8. So a lot to play for still for the Harsh driver, but he'll need to keep an eye on that pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trendy has some insane race pace in this one because he's already 5 seconds ahead. So theoretically, that's a second per lap he's gained on his competitors behind because we are at 5 out of 10 laps. And yeah, it's a Williams one too. Don't get to see that every day. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the boys will be happy about that. But further back up the grid is where the meat pack is, where the action is all taking place. So yeah, we're running on board Sager, who's got equal tires to the car in front of him. So will the Red Bull get the move done on the Alpha? We shall find out in a few laps, or maybe corners, considering how well Sager is doing so far.
Shawshank now, after finding himself in an incident on lap 1, is charging through the pack after finding himself down in P17 after lap 1. He's now up to P9 and on a charge again. One now trying to mount a move on Sager, who does seem to have returned to the lobby. So his running a little bit wide there at the final corner. Probably had to take some avoiding action. Probably broke a little bit too late and had to run wide, or maybe had a lockup. But now Sager is trying to mount a move on Lelouch after the Alpha driver overtook him when he had desynced from the session. Little bit deep into turn 1, but he'll get another bite at the cherry through this DRS zone. But
not quite. Yeah,
just gapped him there coming out of turn 2. Just a lot better traction, and it seems like
Shawshank, he got a terrible exit out of the last corner, and he's already right in front of the Red Bull. How's that happen? Maybe the Red Bull couldn't quite put the power down early enough, and that's caught him out. And Shawshank breezes past him, but though he does have that penalty looming over him, so that could see him drop down a couple of places. But yeah, nice charge here from the Ferrari driver.
Absolutely, and now he's trying to mount a move on Lelouch as well. It's little bit of contact there. Was that Sage who lost a bit of his front wing?
That was Shawshank. He's lost his left hand plate. That's not good. But he's still going for the move down the inside on the Alpha. Just so is the pace, or such is the pace of the Ferrari driver right now. Though the Alpha is coming back around him with the extra downforce he has around the outside. These drivers are still going wheel to wheel, and the Alpha gets the move back done. That's a great bit of wheel to wheel racing we've just seen there. That was nice.
Great racing there from Shawshank. He's trying to keep it tidy, even with a little bit of front wing damage. He doesn't seem to be suffering as much as he does have a little bit of a downforce disadvantage, but not as big a factor with these new cars as the front wing. But the downforce, overall downforce affected a whole lot, as it did seem like Shawshank got the move down there on Lelouch, but Lelouch has to remain cautious because he's got that Red Bull breathing down his diffuser now. Shawshank has gotten himself clear, but Lelouch comes back at him. He has to defend the inside, tries to go around the outside, the Alfa Romeo, but has
switch back. It's a beautiful switch back.
Well executed there. They're still side by side going through turn 6 and 7, and good racing there from Shawshank to keep the position. Was that Lelouch? He spun.
Yeah, the Alpha's lost it.
Oh, no.
I think he got beached on the curve and the ground effect. The car is so slow. Yeah, I think he just bottomed out on the curb. That's rather unfortunate because that was a great battle we saw there between the Ferrari sister team. Maybe not quite anymore, I'm not sure. But yeah, the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. Great battle, and sadly, Lelouch got stuck on the curb there from the looks of it.
That is one of the things to keep in mind with these new cars, is because so much of the ground effect, so much of the aero is generated by the floor. If you do ride the curb a little bit, it majorly affects the aero balance of the car, and you basically lose all downforce. It's the effect of stalling your diffuser in most forms of motorsport. So it's not really ideal to go too much on the curb, especially if you mount the curb or ride the curb completely. And you lose a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to point out, I think people who did suffer incidents in the start of the race might be the most unfortunate ones, because they'll have to be pitting onto the softs, I think, because the game doesn't give you a medium set for the sprint. I'm not sure how quite it works. and that means you have to do the soft stint on for 9 laps, and that's just cutting it close. So you just do lose out a lot of time, and you can't quite make the charge back. So yeah, it's important to keep it clean at the start of the sprint, and some drivers couldn't quite do that. As you see, Baked Potato going very wide out of turn 10, trying to get a good exit. He's using all the track and more, trying to get that. He's got that. He's almost on the back of the Haas, but doesn't quite have the overspeed to get the move done.
Sorry about the little disturbance, might have come from my side there. But yeah, action is still going on 8 laps into the sprint race, and I think it's a good precursor to the main race as well. Should be seeing a lot of overtaking action all over the field as Baked Potato tries to make a move on Pirate SG. I did mention earlier that he has to maintain his pace or else he will be under threat from the drivers behind him, and now two of them looming in his rearview mirrors. Now Baked Potato and Ritesh not too far off from making an overtake with 2 laps of racing remaining. Pirate SG definitely has to keep an eager eye on those mirrors as he already has someone trying to make a move down the inside but tries to hold it on the outside. Wow, holds it magnificently, but that will compromise his exit onto turn 3.
That was some amazing late braking by the Haas. I don't know how he's done that, to be honest, but yeah, he's held it around the outside, and great defense from the Haas driver there. But that's put Baked Potato under pressure from the Alpine driver behind him, Ritesh, who's been looming behind him for quite a while in this race. Is he going to go for the send here? He goes out wide, but yeah, just trying to scare the Alpha driver, be in his mirrors, occupy his mirrors, and just trying to put him off his line a bit there is Ritesh. But yeah, some good wheel-to-wheel action here, and this is just one more lap. One more lap these guys get to get a move done. So it's now or never, folks.
Really loving the mind games that Ritesh is playing with Baked Potato right now. When he isn't challenging Pirate SG, he has to keep an eye on Ritesh behind him. Ritesh constantly moving around in his mirrors, not giving him a good idea of what he's going to do at any point in time. Now, some might say that the unpredictability is not a great tactic in racing because it just makes you look like a loose cannon, but Ritesh does seem to know what he's doing, just playing a couple of mind games here and there with Baked Potato, who now is on the back of Pirate SG once again. Almost seems like
getting a good exit here.
Seems like deja vu from the previous lap.
Yeah, but he's got a poor exit. That's allowed Ritesh to close up further behind. And yeah, Ritesh is probably in the worst position in this battle because he's in a TRS train. But apart from that, here goes the Alpha down for a move down the inside. No, backs out, trying to get a better exit. Maybe doesn't quite get so. And that allows Ritesh to have a sneak up the inside, but doesn't quite get the move done as the Alpha were slowed down on the apex there to prevent that from happening. So yeah, they all concertinaed into one another, trying to defend for their positions, and as a result of that, not a single overtake was made. But yeah, great racing going on here.
Tell you something though, this battle does work out well in Pirate SG's favor because anytime he defends from Baked Potato, it instantly moves Ritesh that little bit closer to the back of Baked Potato to the point where he changes his focus from trying to attack Pirate SG to having to defend from the Alpine driver. So it works out well in Pirate SG's favor because he gets that half a lap more of breathing room as DRS is now open, but not too much or too big a gap for Baked Potato to cover as he has to remain behind Pirate SG for this last sector. Don't think there'll be much more of an overtaking opportunity anytime soon. So it does seem like Pirate SG will hold on to that P3 after great adversity in the sprint race. So Strendy coming across the final corner now, rounding off the final few turns. DRS not open because he's currently clear in P1, 7 seconds.
Oh, he had a 5-second time penalty as well. So but it doesn't matter.
He still has 3 seconds of an advantage over his teammate Shrey, and that is an easy victory, easy 1-2 for the Williams boys. Just maintain the race really well. Pirate SG crosses the line in P3, Baked Potato P4, Ritesh in P5, BK19. Good recovery for him after starting quite far back. I think he started P17, did BK. So yeah, good recovery for the Aston Martin driver there.
I think Shawshank got the move done on Jose Hero. Could we go on board him? Though I think he's already got the move done, so... Yeah, it was going to be a good charge for the Ferrari, but then he broke a bit too late into turn 10 as the Alphas finishing very close to each other. That's always nice to see. But Face Track taking the lead on Maverick Loki. I think Face Track just about...
pretty. Okay. Yeah. We're back. We're back. We briefly went to the to the wrong scene there, but we're back. And yeah, that was a exciting sprint race that ended on a good note for AlphaTauri. We just saw them both basically side by side across the line. So yeah, fun race to look forward to ahead in the main race as well.
Yeah, as I was saying before we got cut off there, I think that's just a precursor to the main event, if you will. So we're just going to get 29 laps of what we just saw right now, and yeah, a good race all in all. I think Facetrack just hung on there for his dear life on those old soft tires. So yeah, that's what allowed Maverick Loki to get so close. But looking forward to the full race. And what are your thoughts? Like, do you think we're going to see more racing or maybe less racing? Because the cars are going to be slightly heavier with more fuel. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that's an interesting train of thought, but I think if any reason why the racing would die down, I think it's because now the drivers will realize this is their main opportunity to get points. So the top 10 now get points, and more importantly, if you retire from this race, that's it. Your race weekend is officially over. So the sprint race kind of was like an extra life, if you will. In this overall race weekend, you had an extra chance to kind of salvage, get some more points, high risk, high reward kind of scenario. But with the main race now, the focus will be more on trying to not make too many ambitious overtakes, no dives from absolutely nowhere. Unless, if it's the last lap or something, we might see something audacious from one of the drivers. But I think it's going to be more a case of managing the race now. I think it's going to be more of a typical race weekend. We're going to see racing, of course, because Bahrain encourages racing, with the multiple DRS zones, and the fact that you can follow the cars ahead a lot closely with these current cars with the new regulations. So the racing is definitely going to be there, but I don't think we'll see as much racing as we did in the sprint race, because that was just about getting as many positions as possible and setting yourself up for the main race. So if anything, that's going to be the reason why we see less racing, but racing is definitely on the calendar for this race.
Yeah, and on the calendar for the season as well, we have quite a few races remaining, folks. Just the third round of the season, so do stick around if you want to watch more of this. But yeah, just heading on to the main one, and Strendy took the win for the sprint. An absolute dominant performance. 7-second gap is hard enough to achieve in a 50% race, let alone a sprint race. While the fuel loads are so slow, and the discrepancy between the drivers is not as much as a full 50% race. But okay, we seem to have run into another issue with the lobby, so we'll just be back. Saifi will just go back to the intermission screen again while we wait for the drivers to sort this out. But yeah, as I was saying, an absolute dominant performance from Strendy there, and maybe I think he's on course to win the main race as well by a long margin. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, he had the pace in the first race, but I think that had more to do with the fact that Pirate SG just had his time completely occupied by the people coming up from behind him. I think if he can gather a little bit more confidence, gather that little bit more pace, I think he can mount a good challenge on Shrey and Strendy up front. But more importantly, I think now Shrey plays a huge role in Strendy's pace, because obviously Strendy has got that insurance policy of having his teammate right behind him. Obviously, if Shrey is carrying the pace as well, he can obviously have, there can be a little bit of team orders. There can be a switch between the two drivers, and then you see Strendy sort of playing playing the wingman for the entirety of the race. It all depends on who's the faster driver. But I think with all things considered, if Strendy does have the pace, I think he should just pull a gap as quickly as possible on the drivers behind him, and his teammate will just kind of keep things tidy behind him, keep the drivers at bay, and sort of allow Strendy to just open a gap up front. But yeah, as I said, it depends on who's the faster driver between the two of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And both the drivers seem very consistent with more of race pace rather than qualifying pace, which is so much more important in this game. Because having good race pace can make a lot of difference as to how much you can gain on the others there. But just drawing away from this topic, it seems that we have maybe a new outlier for the WCC in Williams, but I think you missed the last one. So Haas looked pretty good in the last race. Now Williams are there looking even stronger than they did last race. So maybe a new challenge at the WCC looks to be very interesting. With the Haas and Williams both having very strong drivers. Just the Haas drivers getting a bit caught out in some incidents in the race, but yeah, it looks like a good prospect for the season as to how things are going to hold out between the two of them. Uh, with both of them being very consistent teams in their different formats, one qualifying and one race. So yeah, there's that going on. But apart from the drivers, I think Strendy, yeah, most likely is an outlier for the WDC. Maybe Ritesh can sneak in there as well because he seemed to have had a good resurgence in terms of race pace in this game. So we'll have a look as to how the season is going to play out because I think what this game has done, if I could say so, is that it's proved a more it's showed a more distance like different between different drivers on different tracks. So that you have drivers going well in different in Bahrain, you have drivers going well in Australia. So it basically showcases how each driver has a different like driving style maybe, and how different tracks adhere to different drivers. So yeah, it seems like a very mixed up season, this one. I don't know how you feel about it, but yeah, that's my 2 cents.
I think your 2 cents summed up my 2 cents because that was a pretty in-depth analysis of the strengths of each driver. And yeah, you made a good point about each driver having different driving styles. I think it's more to do with the fact that certain drivers are comfortable with certain styles of tracks. So obviously, some drivers are happier with the faster tracks that had not too many stop-start corners. A lot of high speed and medium speed corners. Maybe that suits their driving style a bit more. Maybe they're more confident in those kinds of tracks. So Australia and Bahrain are definitely those kinds of tracks where you see a lot of high speed and medium speed, not as much start corners, maybe 2 or 3 across the course of the lap. So yeah, the power dynamic is definitely going to shift throughout the season. We're going to see new drivers, new teams. We might even see the likes of some other drivers getting better, getting more comfortable with the game, getting more comfortable with these cars over the course of the season. And we see a few other teams and drivers getting involved with the constructors and drivers championship battles. But as it stands so far, it does seem like Haas and Williams are going to put up good scrap for the entirety of the season. But yeah, part of me wishes that more drivers and more teams are involved because that just makes it more exciting. Imagine an 8-way battle or a 10-way battle for a race win and everybody's on the same pace and different strategies, and that's the kind of thing that gets spectators and commentators going. That's what makes racing so exciting, so gripping. I mean, there's one thing just everybody doing the same strategy and everybody's 2 seconds apart by the end of the race. That's one aspect of it. That's how F1 has been for the last few seasons. It's just been kind of monotonous and boring. It's just been one team dominating. But yeah, we're seeing a lot more drivers coming into IRC and F1 esports in general, and we're seeing a lot of them getting comfortable with the game. So really happy with it. If you are wondering what is going on, there has been a small lobby issue in the background, not just with the streamer, but everyone in the lobby had some sort of an issue. So we're just trying to sort that out in the background. So do keep with us, do stay with us. The race is pretty much on. And the main race is going to be the main highlight of today. I think it's going to be a cracker because a lot of points are on offer and a lot of drivers will want to stamp their authority because after the first 2 races, we've had 2 different race winners, I believe. So maybe another different driver for race number 3.
Yeah, not only that, but a lot of drivers out of position as well, like Shawshank, who has bottles of pace here in bundles of pace rather here in Bahrain, but finds himself down P17 after an unlucky offing in the sprint. So yeah, we could certainly see some plot lines evolve in the race where we have drivers making a charge or some drivers falling back down the grid in the main race. So there's all to look forward to in that. But in terms of the game, like how we've been discussing, is how each driver is taking a different approach. I think it's even more integral to get your race setup right in this game because I think there's a huge difference between the race setup and a time trial or a qualifying setup in this game now. Like it's further accentuated with how these cars behave under heavy fuel loads where they're already so heavy and now they're getting even more heavier with more fuel. So yeah,
it feels like the jeopardy levels are higher. But yeah, Bahrain definitely one of my favorites. Little more on the technical difficult side to drive, but very, very satisfying if you get it right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the real life race is also interesting. Like coming back to Charles versus Max, I think that's some nice DRS games going on where the detection zone is actually just before the braking of turn one. So if you're smart enough, you can probably hang back into turn one just a bit, and then suddenly like send it down the inside into the apex. So you do get the DRS to the second one zone as well. So you're just well ahead, and there's no chance of the guy behind you to make another move. So do you think we can see a repeat of such mind games in tonight's race, or do you think these drivers won't bother with that? Won't risk, battling in these low-speed corners and trying to shuffle these cars around very awkwardly? Do you think we're going to see the safe approach or the tactical approach in this one?
Hard to say because different drivers have different approaches. I think some drivers are more aggressive, some drivers are a little bit more easygoing. As we do head into the lobby, it's difficult to predict what the approach will be at any point in time. But yeah, that will definitely get revealed to us soon as the drivers are readying up for the final race. We will get an opportunity to explore that a little further.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the skies look clear. No clouds in sight. The lights shining brightly.
Wasn't really a surprise, to be honest.
Well, it's in the name, don't you know? Bahrain.
Bahrain. It's very ironic that it's called Bahrain, yet it gets no rain. I think I'm yet to see a league race with rain in it. In any league, not just IRC. I don't think in any Bahrain race I've had rain. I think you really do have to manually set it to rain if you want rain at Bahrain.
Absolutely. I think the one or two of such similar tracks are probably Jeddah and Abu Dhabi. But I've actually seen rain in Abu Dhabi before when it's at a dynamic. So, yeah. Yeah, you never know. You never know with this game, especially as you just have 3 seconds. Yep. Just you have 3 seconds. And yeah, again, just to remind the viewers, no formation lap because it is bugged. And 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, very abruptly. The race starts as we have the telemetry on. The cars still and the cars do finally get off the line. And Strendy gets a good storming start, way clear in front of the Haas. The Haas close behind. Is he going to go for a move? Strendy takes a very wide line there, trying to give space to the Haas. The Haas sniffs at that opportunity and gets the move done into turn one. Very well played by the Haas driver there.
Yeah, if you can just get the track map and telemetry up, Sai Tarun, that would be great. I think SWATcat had a major moment going through turn one because he's had a big loss in position. Shrey as well, who started...
That's AlphaTauri who's gone off. That's Maverick Loki who's gone off.
Shrey, who had started on the front row, now finds himself in P15. Oof. Not a good position for the Williams driver. I think he may have had some sort of start light glitch or something of the sort like we had in Silverstone. God forbid we have something of that sort. But yeah, really bad start for the Williams driver. More importantly, a bad start for both Williams driver because Trendy has lost some positions at the start. He just made up another one there.
Trendy's not been able to get his tires up to temperature. Could we have a look at the tires? See if anyone started on the softs who's brave enough to start on the softs. Yep, it is Pirate, and that explains it. That's why he got such a beastly start. But BK has got a great start as well. He finds himself in P ahead of Strendy as well. I think Strendy just misjudged the amount of grip he had on those cold tires because, again, folks, no formation lap means you will be starting on 70-degree cold tires. And yeah, certainly not well away from the working range there. For these tires to brake properly on. But yeah, I think Lelouch, we was just seeing him getting beached in that inside curve as we were talking about on turn 10. And
has to dive into the pits because he's carrying a little bit of front wing damage there. So unfortunate for the Alpine driver as that is Duke making a move down the inside of, or trying to make a move down the inside of Baked Potato, who holds off very well against the Red Bull driver there. Good attempt there though, good racing so far. But onto Strendy, who did lose out a few positions at the start because he couldn't get his tires into temperature, as Moto mentioned earlier. But I think it's important to mention, Moto, that the strategy works out to his favor, obviously, because Pirate SG, even though he's on the fastest tire, those are going to be dead within 6 or 7 laps maximum.
They split it to the soft towards Heisenberg. Actually, that might not be that bad of a call because, going the hards, if they pitted the hards, they will be losing till the end. But we do have a prospect with safety car as well,
A
which
safety
is
car.
quite common in this game. But Strendy, as you said, is on the optimum strategy, and he seems to have the optimum pace as he's all the way behind BK, occupying his middles. BK getting a bit flustered there, but he's keeping well on his own, keeping his line, holding his line well, not being swayed by the fact that there's a very rapid Williams right behind him. But he's got a great exit off that corner, has Trendy, and he's right within DRS. Though I don't think he requires it because he's using his DRS. He goes to the send into the last corner. BK not giving enough space. There's some collision between both the drivers going side by side into the first corner. Who's going to dump all the battery here? Let's have a look. Trendy not using any battery, using some battery here and there. BK hangs back and decides to stay behind. So a good battle there, and Strendy with a very audacious move into the last corner there. I think he got that done because he wants to get rid of DRS now that it's been activated, though BK will have it. And BK, who doesn't get a good exit of the first corner, has got Baked Potato occupying his middles now. So yeah, good move there by the Williams, and looking forward to see his charge on Barrett now. Oh!
Yeah. Ooh, there's a spin
no.
there for Shawshank. Oh no, one of the faster drivers on the grid, unfortunately having a little bit of an incident, but no real damage for him. So
Asia's retired on the exit of the last corner.
I think he's retired in the pits there, but
no, I think that was just outside the pits. That's a shame because he had some great pace in Australia till he missed his breaking point and took out a McLaren in front of him, from what I remember. But yeah, he has good pace, and yeah, it's going to be unfortunate that he's been DNF'd out. There's a 3-car battle going on here, folks. This is what these new regs are promoting. The cars can just follow so much more closely, and it's just that bit harder to control the car. So mistakes are not very uncommon in this new game. So just brings the field much closer, and evidently so, as we have a Merc, Aston, and a Red Bull all fighting together closely. I'm not sure. But yeah,
we can dream. In real life, we can dream, but in the game we don't have to, because we've got these drivers putting on a real show for us. As Upbeat 20 moves out of the slipstream of Monk there and gets the move done into turn 1 pretty comfortably, well before turn 1 as well. But it's important to get a good exit out of turn 3 if he wants to keep that position. When he doesn't get a good exit, damn, Commentator's curse striking again. I literally said he had to that's Duke spinning out in exactly the same manner as IRC Upbeat 20. He's actually recovered the car faster than Upbeat 20, so he'll get a position. Let's go.
Yeah, that could have spun after him.
What a move! What a move!
What a move indeed. But yeah, it's Shawshank again, suffering another spin. The Ferrari fans might be getting some severe PTSD from the 2017 and 18 seasons here. The Ferrari then not able to keep the car on the track. He certainly could do in qualifying, but in the race it's a bit nervy, isn't it? I think his setup's a bit too keen on making the car twitchy, which made him really quick for qualifying. I think that's gone to bite him in the ass right now. Going back to the race, Baked Potato looming behind, 5 tenths behind BK. BK is just dropping back in this race. He's already out of DRS of Strendy, 1.4 behind, and he doesn't have that lifeline of the extra top speed he's going to get from the DRS, and Baked Potato does have that. So let's have a look if Baked Potato is going to expend his DRS here. And doesn't quite do so. Hands back, trying to get a better exit into turn 1. Look how awkward these cars are going through that turn 1. It's so slow, so awkward. But Baked Potato gets a decent run in. 2 tenths behind. He's going to go for the move. Oh, he's a bit too far back. He chooses to stay back further. That's been the race for you so far, folks. A lot of action all throughout, and certainly more to come.
I think definitely Louch hasn't made a lot of use of those soft tires. If you just have a look at the position changes, we can have an idea of just how many positions he's gained, what kind of an advantage he's had on those soft tires. I don't think he's had too much of an advantage though. Yeah, only 2 positions make that 3 as BK19 spins out and
we mentioned this on stream. Is that a sort of a commentator's curse? I guess in a way.
I don't. I mean, I won't claim that. I mean, that was purely up to BK there. We didn't say anything. I mean, we did say turn 10 was a difficult corner, but that's an interesting way to lose the car there. As BK19, he's on a very interesting line going through turn. That's a very tight line, not quite optimal, and that's bit him right back because Lilouch is all over the back of BK19 right now, breathing down his diffuser as he looks to get a move done down even before the pit straight. Has a little look down the inside, chooses to stay behind, but I think now the move should be done. But Lilouch has to also start thinking about his tire situation because he's on lap 6. Those soft tires are looking a little worn right about now, so he has maybe another lap or 2 before they really start to fall off a cliff, and then he has to he'll be scrapped tires, so he'll have to think about strategy hard. But yeah, he's made the move for now on BK19.
Yeah, a very clean move, and BK's tires are going to hang in a bit longer, so he's going to get the second bite of the cherry. But further back, Sager and Monk are going hammer and tong at it out of that first sector complex, which I think is proving to be one of the best sectors I've seen for racing so far, at least. There's a lot of switchbacks, and that second DRS zone just gives the drivers a second bite of the cherry to get the move done again, or get the position back again after getting overtaken in turn 1. So yeah, great racing going on just in that sector alone there.
Yeah, a lot of Leclerc versus Verstappen memories coming back to us now. I remember that battle fondly from the first race of the season. Even as a Mercedes fan, that was very enjoyable to watch. And, it kept us on the edge of our seat. But Ferrari not quite doing well in the remaining part of the season. But we won't talk about that. Let's stay on topic, and that's the Tier 2 race this afternoon. The grid has settled down a bit here. The only battle really that I can think of right now is BK19 versus Lilouch, but even then it's a second gap now between BK and Lilouch. So
Barrett's coming at the pits. Those soft tires are done. Look at those fronts, they're absolutely worn in. But yeah, that's his scheduled pit stop. So you never know. Maybe the 2-stopper could be the faster tire strategy here, considering how tire abrasive this circuit is. This 1-stop might not be the favorable outcome, but I don't know if that's enough to get the time you lose in the pits back. If you can, I don't really know much about the tire strat in this Grand Prix here. So we're just gonna have to have a look at it and see if Lelouch and Pirate can get another chance to come back later in the race.
I think that's the great part about this new game. We can't really tell the strategy. We can't really predict the strategy of any driver at any point in time because, the tire wear is so extreme and each driver drives a little bit differently. So their tire wear is going to be different. How they approach the strategy is going to be different. Do they want to be pushing every single lap and just setting fastest laps? In that case, they might want to go for the 2-stop and go for the soft tires twice and the mediums once, as BK had a little look up outside the slipstream but then settles back in because probably not the best place to make an overtake because you compromise yourself for the next sector as that was Lilouch running very wide there.
The Alpha tires were posted absolutely, and it's no question that BK is going to be sniffing up his rear all the way now because he's just got that tire advantage. And it seems that Strendy has gotten ahead and leads by 4.3 seconds. Not as commanding as the lead he had in the sprint, but maybe he's just going to eat away at that gap. Or not eat away, rather pull away at that gap from Baked Potato. But for the back, Existence also, who had a pretty timid sprint, if you will, has found himself in P4. Both the Astons, it's also looking competitive. Another team which could have a shot at the WCC if you think that's possible with how these drivers are faring in this one. As the grid. Yeah.
Someone has left the session. Didn't quite see whose name it was. The IRC website was blocking the name slightly, but someone has left the session. I think it might be one of the Alpha drivers. I'm not quite sure, but Baked Potato currently in P2, and does he look decent? I'm not quite sure. I don't think he is. Regardless, there's yellow flag in sector 2 as there's a little bit of as an argy-bargy going through turn 10 there. A couple of guys.
That's existence.
It's a four-way battle going through turn 10. Casual four-way battle as they come onto the back straight. As the strategy is heating up now, a couple of drivers, especially the soft runners, have made their pit stops. Interesting to note that Lelouch has gone onto the medium tires. I don't think he can take those to the end, so I think he's definitely committing to the two-stop, and more importantly, he's going to be praying that there's a safety car period where he can pit without much repercussion to his overall race time.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's a second safety or a safety car in general towards the latter stages of the race, it's no question that these drivers are going to pit with the softs. We might see sprint till the end again then. So we might have two sprints on the for today afternoon, folks, if there's a second safety car. But yeah, we can see McLaren of Monk making a move on Existence. Existence takes a wider line, trying to get a better exit, but Monk covers him off very well there. But he's going to have DRS again. Is the Aston or not quite? I think Monk played that beautifully, and that's the tactic we were talking about, where he just hung back in turn 1, so he could get the DRS again for the second zone. So yeah, that's how you execute that perfectly, folks, and the McLaren going well in this race.
We definitely see the grid settling down a little bit earlier in this race, but it is again heated up a little bit coming into this mid part of the race. So we are about 9 laps and 20 laps left to go, and we're seeing a couple more battles emerging all over the track right now. So BK90 the closest to Baked Potato right now after Lelouch pitted a little earlier. He's got a nice attack on his teammate.
Strelly's really pulled away, by the way. Never mind. That's 9.4 seconds. Huh? That was a Red Bull. That's a Red Bull moving very slowly. He's clipped his end plate, left end plate. Oh, nearly does again, as he almost went into the back of Shrey there. As BK squeezes his way past Baked Potato, though I think he might be disconnected. So yeah, he'll be glad that was an easy pass, and he gets a DRS zone as well, a DRS activation as well for that, and which is just going to help his race time. As one of the Astons does dive into the pits, that's Existence going into the pits there, and hopefully seeking to undercut his teammate and Baked Potato if he can get those tires up to temperature on the outlap. But yeah, Strenny really has pulled away massively here, 10 seconds in 10 laps, and he wasn't even leading on lap 1. So yeah, just utter race pace display here from the Williams driver there. But further back, it seems things have died down a little. I think the closest gaps we can see is Maverick Loki, who's right behind Pirate SG, who I think is on cold tires. No, those should be up to temperature. So if we just go on board Maverick Loki and see how he's faring on those 9-lap-old mediums compared to this 3-lap-old mediums Pirate is on. It's a decent exit out of that corner, but yeah, I can see Pirate slowly pulling away as his tires get up to temperature. Oh, Baked Potato has lost another position to Sager, that is. Wonder how that's happened. I think he lost the car.
Yellow flag going through turn 1 straight, not having a good race at all after
cold hearts.
Yeah, losing a lot of positions at the start. He's now come out on the cold hard tires, and yeah, it's not a great start for him.
The entire grid's in a Williams sandwich now, if you will.
Oh, come on, that's a long shot. But I thought you were going to say that the entire grid is going to have the same issues on the hard tires, which is going to be
that could be as well. Yeah. I wouldn't call that out because the hards are just so hard. Well, no pun intended. Just so hard to get up to temperature.
Highly original opinion there from a very old Moto. The hard tires are very hard. Yes, we agree. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
Get up to temperature because they just don't bite into the tarmac very well. But they do have the most durability, so that could pay well for you the latter stages of the race. But coming back, the grid has spaced out a bit. The gaps have opened up. Drivers are just managing their tires. Heisenberg on toasted tires. Again, I don't think I've seen that shade of orange on our telemetry before. Those tires are absolutely toasted. Maybe he's waiting on account of a safety car being deployed. He's holding those tires onto those soft tires that much longer in case he gets a lifeline for safety car. But I don't quite think that's the right call to stay out of those tires.
I think he might be trying for the one stop from the softs to the mediums. I don't think it's a viable option, but if you stay out long enough on each set of tires and absolutely burn them down to the rim, it's definitely possible. But more importantly, I think he's trying to time the pit stop in such a way that all these medium runners, they come in and they're struggling on those hard tires. At that point, he wants those medium tires probably to be up to temperature and ready to go. So my prediction would be that Heisenberg dives into the pits on this lap and gets those mediums up to temperature, just takes care of them for a few laps, just get them up to the working window, and then he'll have a fast set of tires that will hopefully get him a few positions when everyone else is sort of slipping and sliding around on those cold hard tires. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting period. I'm curious to see how Heisenberg makes the strategy work as his teammate crosses the line fighting with Abhi 20. In the background, we will see if Heisenberg is diving into the pit lane. He is.
He is.
He has.
Yeah.
So
no question, isn't it?
Yeah, those tires are literally on the rim right now. I am estimating 60-70%, whereas I thought those cars weren't ghosted. Never mind, they are. I thought there was going to be contact there between the ghosted car of BK19 and Sager, so this should be an easy move for the Red Bull driver, considering the AI is slightly slower than human drivers. Yeah, Sager gets the move done there before the DRS even came into effect. But someone going very slowly is that Shawshank. Has he picked up a little bit more damage? He's getting bullied, and there's someone in the wall on the left-hand side.
Oh, that's Avi, I think, almost.
That was SWAT-cat in the wall on the left-hand side. I randomly saw a car rejoining from the left. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, that was SWAT-cat entering the battle, just allowing himself in, and he just parked off at the side. He's like, nah, this race is getting too boring. I want to be part of something more interesting, and just inserted himself into that battle. But yeah, Abhi 20 and Shawshank were going very well. Shawshank has lost about 2 positions there, or almost lost 2 positions there because
Maverick Loki going for a nice pirouette there. But yeah, gets the car back on track. I think that was in the exit of the corner. It is uphill, so it's just a bit harder to manage traction. So yeah, spin for the Alpha Tauri there. Baked Potato's ghosted car. I think that's his AI who's cornered in the pits. Not a bad pit stop, considering that he is on AI. The AI does tend to make very stupid decisions from time to time. But there's Shawshank, who still hasn't been deterred by the outcomes of this race. He's been caught up in so many incidents, suffered from so many spins. I don't even know how many, but he finds himself in P7. Such is the pace advantage of that.
He's thriving from failure, and opposite of suffering from success.
He's making moves on 6-lap old medium tires. I don't know how that's happening. He's holding his own against Pirate SJ, who's on much fresher tires there behind. But further ahead, Strenny just pulling away more and more on that gap. I think we might have to have a talk with the coordinators about for a promotion in place, because 14.5 seconds and we're not halfway through. A bit too big of a gap, if you will.
Do give me a moment. Give me about 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But further back, going on board Monk, who's just going past BK there. BK, who still hasn't connected back in the session again. His race is just going from bad to worse. His AI is just trying to hang in there. He comes into the pits. Monk gets a 5-second for speeding into the pit lane. That's rather unfortunate, because he was looking very strong in the race, taking his pickings very wisely and slowly. But BK going for a front wing change there, or maybe his AI is. I don't know if he had damage from an incident before, but front wing change was in order there for the Aston Martin. Pirate SJ on those 7-lap old medium tires, relatively fresher than the cars in front of him. Is he going to get the undercut pulled on P2, 3, and 4 or not? I'm pretty sure he's actually no. You know what? He's going to get that move. Going to get the undercut done very easily, considering he's just a few seconds down the road. So Strendy in the league of his own there. Yeah. Welcome back. Not much has been missed there, but just talking about how Pirate hasn't really undercut anyone from his early pit stop there, because such is the gap of Strendy, which is 23 seconds now. Rather bizarre, but yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I don't think I missed too much in that period, but yeah, the
Oh,
race
could we
has
go on with
settled down.
Lelouch? Yeah. The Alpha and the Alpine are swapping positions there. Alpine trying to sneak up back down the inside, doesn't quite have the space required to do so. And Lucius sticks his card in front there for a couple of laps longer. Though I tell you what, Sager, who's on fresh hards, and you know what that calls for, folks. Cold ass tires as he's trying to get the grip into the tires, trying to weave around, but surely he's going to get past here because the grip advantage will be way too much for the Alpha behind. Because he's on heated up tires. But further back down, Heisenberg has had a bit of a quiet race so far. Trying to make a move on the Williams in front of him. As Alush getting very close to Sager there, all up his rear diffuser there. And I think Sager's got a bit of heat into his tires. Not quite. He gets a poor exit there. Is Alush going to have a second bite of the cherry here with the second DRS zone? A bit too far back to make the move. As and
Sager's left position.
There's been a common
well
theme, hasn't it? We're shaping up to a battle and then the car in front just disconnects.
It's more of a battle between the driver and their own Wi-Fi. As Lelouch gets a very easy move on Sager there, all things considered. Been battling him for nearly a sector and a half, but then to have it end that way is a little bit of it's blue balled us a little bit there. But now SWAT Cat is on the charge as well. He's looking to make a move on Sager, but Sager's AI has a very nice run here on Lelouch, but I don't think it's going to really try to make a move, or maybe it will. No, it didn't. That was a bit too audacious to expect there from the AI, but yeah, Lelouch putting a little bit of gap between himself and Sager, so now SWAT Cat has to get past Sager's AI. Oh, Sager is back, I believe. Important thing to note as well.
Right then, let's go for a hot lap of the Sakir circuit, rounding the final corner now, thundering down the main straight. DRS open as we start the lap. DRS open.
And we're back. Sorry about that, folks. Just a bit of technical difficulties. Yes, we do have clear weather. Thank you, game. Thank you, telemetry, for that. But yeah, back to the action. I think Sager has reconnected, and he finds himself behind Lelouch now on fresher tires as he's slowly getting them up to temperature, and slowly the grip advantage is going to play a part in this battle.
We saw the telemetry there telling us that it was a sunny weather. That's a very based telemetry to tell us that it's sunny weather in Bahrain.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it? It's sunny.
Yeah, what you gonna do about it? If we could go on board Ritesh, I believe he's just behind Monk and then looking to make a move on the McLaren driver as well. They're coming into the DRS. They're about to come into the DRS zone now, just after turn 10, coming through turn 9, and Ritesh on the hard, both drivers on the hard tires, but more importantly, Ritesh on already 14 lap old hard tires. So I believe Ritesh might have a second coming in the second half of this race, because obviously he's going to go on the medium tires. So that's going to be the opposite strategy to all the people who started on the medium or the soft tires who have now pitted onto the hard. So he'll have a lot more pace in the second half of the race. But it's important to know when Ritesh will pit. So with the medium tires, definitely we've seen other drivers go nearly 16 laps now. More importantly, Stendi is 26 seconds clear at the front. I think that's more to do with the fact that drivers behind him, like Pirate SG, have pitted a little earlier. So I think they're more of representation of the net P2 and P3. But more importantly, Shawshank finds himself in a really good position as well to salvage a podium, maybe after a not great race start, and especially not great sprint race with the wing damage that he accrued. So he's in a good position. It all depends on when Stendi will pit, and more importantly, how he manages his outlap, because on those cold tires, it's going to take at least a lap for him to get up.
I think he's bidding to go on the soft tire there. That's kind of brave, considering there's quite a few laps left, and going on to the hards this late doesn't quite make sense. So I'm not sure what the plan is for the Williams driver, but I can tell you that softs won't be a good decision. But I think he's got a bit too much of a buffer to be concerned about the tires wearing out. So we'll just have to have a look and see as to what happens in the end. But further back, it seems Sager has finally got some heat into those cold hards, and he's on it. He's absolutely charging through through the track now, all the way behind the Alpha, taking various lines, trying to get in his mirrors and put him off his line. Where is he going to make the move? Maybe into the last corner, because technically that would be the best place. No, never mind that. He gets the move done on the exit of that corner. But that probably is going to come back to bite him, because now the Alpha is going to have DRS behind him. So all SaiTarun needs is a decent enough exit to just pull away that much more. Doesn't quite get it. It's 5 tenths, 4.5 tenths now. Will Lelouch use all his ERS try to get past the Red Bull there? Surely not.
He's got none left.
He's got none left, but he's got the move done.
On the curb. Oh, that was great racing though between the two of them. Lelouch got on the curb there, but still managed to keep the car
behind the tires are fighting as well. That's Vodka and Baked Potato going hammer and tong in the background there. Brilliant racing all throughout, and both the Alphas showing some great racing in this first sector of Bahrain here. Lovely to watch that. I don't know how he completely decimated that curb, which you never do, but he still held the car and got a decent enough exit. But yeah, I think SaiTarun just outed him there with the fresher grip he had. But yeah, great racing nonetheless.
Yeah, Lelouch did very well to not spin the car through turn 1. They're very easy to get on the curb and lose the rear end, because when the rear comes back in contact with the ground, it's spinning at a different speed. So you obviously have that little snap moment, but he held it very well there, and he's still in with a good shout of getting the position back on SaiTarun if he can just stay on his rear, because Lelouch can easily, well, maybe not easily make it to the end on those medium tires, but he can definitely, if he can maintain those tires, he have the pace all the way till the end. But now SaiTarun is on the charge, and he'll look to make the position on the drivers ahead. Shawshank dives into the pits now. He is...
look at those mediums. Bruh.
Absolutely toasty, and he goes on to the softs.
Softs that's
for
brave.
10 laps. That's very brave. I don't think people have gotten the memo on the
strategy. He match the wear he's received on both the stints.
He's just like, they must all be red.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be, is his motto for tonight, or today afternoon rather. But yeah, he's going to be rapid now with those soft tires. But let's have a look and see what's going to happen in the latter stages. I think it's the latter part of this race is going to be really interesting with this mix of strategy here. I did not see any of the drivers pitting with the soft tires. You see Existence and Jose Hero duking it out here into turn 1, sticking closely behind his Existence, gets a good run down the inside into turn 4. A very rudimentary pass, but it's a pass nonetheless, and that's a good move there by the Aston Martin driver.
The pit strategy window that has elapsed for everyone is really bringing everyone closer to each other.
And it is, though he's going to come out in front in P1, it doesn't really matter. But what tire is he going to go for is the question here. He's going for the softs. He's gone for the softs, folks, and that means he's going to have 9 laps to make sure these tires do last till the end. Which I don't think they will. Maybe it'll be close. It depends on how much he pushes. Here we see Ritesh on those toasty tires and a damaged wing. SaiTarun has lost his car there. Maybe those hards couldn't quite bite on the tarmac well enough, and he suffered a spin there. Further back, Shawshank on the charge with those soft tires, as I mentioned before, already making a move, almost makes a move on SaiTarun as well. Though I don't think he expected to make that move, because SaiTarun was all out of shape there. As Maverick Loki takes another trip to the runoff there of that S section as he spins on the curb, maybe. Not quite sure what happened there, but yeah, Shawshank there with a good dive down the inside. The grip is evident there, isn't it? He's already pulled out 3 tenths ahead of SaiTarun now. And yeah, it's just going to be...
to note as well that Strendy has pitted and he's come out 20 seconds ahead of Lelouch.
Oh, wow. How is that possible?
On the soft tires.
On the soft tire. So he can pull out another gap and pit again for softs.
40 seconds clear at the end of this race will be Strendy. But I was going to say, Shawshank needs to keep an eye on his tire wear here, because he does have to go a long distance.
Around the outside of turn 10, he gets the move done before the braking zone. Shawshank on the red compound of tire in the red car is on a charge, folks.
Absolutely, but he does have to keep an eye on that tire wear, because if he does a lot of battling, he won't have enough tire left at the end to make it to the end. So he'll have to balance the battles that he gets caught up in. and the tire wear as well. He has to keep an eye on both of those things. And, it's going to be an interesting period for him because he has to kind of decide between making it to the end of the race and positions. As he's caught up very quickly to the back of... Oh, no, wait, that's Lillard's closing up to his teammate there, not Shawshank closing up to Lillard's, I believe.
Yeah, he did bit.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Maybe those mediums are just wearing out a bit too much, though. He's going to be on the softs, and still a bit too early with the softs, and for my liking. You don't want to be doing more than 7 laps on the soft tires. BK goes a bit wide into turn 1. But Strendy not quite eating away at the gap of Baked Potato. Maybe he is conserving his tires. He's not pushing all out. Because that gap he should be gaining a second per sector with the grip advantage he has right now. Now he's pulling out a gap, so maybe now he's slowly and surely pushing, just going for the fastest lap. Hasn't set a purple first sector, so that could be down to the lack of DRS. But we are just gonna go on board back to BK now, who had a disconnect, but that hasn't deterred him. He's found himself on the back of Sager. They're on equally worn tires. So this is a proper battle, 1v1 here. All conditions are the same. The tires are on equal wear. The cars are equal. And the pace certainly does seem equal from what we've seen in this race as well. So strap in.
7 laps of racing and 7 laps of BK19 filling his mirrors to look forward to for Sager. I think it's 2 drivers there who've both had battles with their Wi-Fi in this race. So I hope that does not become another element in this battle. But that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on towards the end. But more importantly, as you mentioned, Strendy and Shawshank not really pushing too much on that fresh soft tire right now. Both of them are on the same strategy almost. So it's interesting to note that Shawshank is not closing up too quickly to the back of Baked Potato. I think that's for his own good because he will not want to wear out those soft tires prematurely and have to really tire manage towards the end and fight the car towards the end. I don't think that's on his docket. But Strendy as well, as you said, not really pulling a huge gap. That should be a second per lap or more delta advantage on the hard tire, but I think it's just a case of making it to the end for the Williams driver. I don't think he wants to jeopardize anything right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And
we can just go on board Heisenberg. He seems to be making a move on RB20. Ooh, very close going through turn 1, 2, and 3. As he's heading down to turn 4, DRS open. The Ferrari side by side with the Mercedes is something we've seen many times in real life as he makes the move down the inside. 2 F1 veterans here, Heisenberg and RB20 coming wheel to wheel. And of course, nothing but the cleanest racing between the two of them. A lot of respect as well. Jose getting very sideways coming out of turn 8 through turn 9 now. RB20 has dropped a little further back from Heisenberg. But I think that's... Well, I was going to say I think that's because he's on newer tires, but Heisenberg is on more worn tires than Abhi. So I think it's just Abhi struggling a little bit with the track conditions.
Yeah, but Heisenberg does have that penalty looming over him, so that could come back to bite him. Further ahead, it seems that BK... Ooh, as Abhi completely misses his braking there for... is that turn 10? Which one is that?
That's turn 11.
11, yeah. Oh, he just stopped.
Is that the end of the race? No, he's just waiting for drivers to pass by before he rejoins.
I think his controller might be bugging out from the telemetry there. His throttle was acting very strange. But BK hasn't quite been able to stick to the back of Sager there because maybe the dirt air could compound that. BK he's still there within the second, just about within the second. And now he's within DRS. So yeah, maybe he's just waiting till the end where his Sage's tires just wear out a bit more than BK's and he can go for that late charge. But from the back, it seems that Joe's a hero who's got the pace on the Aston Martin of existence. Who we did see him making the move on the Merc, but he hasn't been able to pull away, which has been a repetitive story for today's race, hasn't it? The drivers are just not able to pull away after making the move because the DRS is just so potent here. Ooh. As Jose Hero loses it on the exit and he's DNF'd. Is that a safety car now? Is that a safety car? It is.
That's in a traction zone. I think it is.
Yep, I can see the safety car dot out. Oh boy.
This is going to be interesting for Baked Potato and Shawshank, who will most surely go for the fresh soft tires. We'll see Do they dive into the pits? Baked Potato staying to the left of the track. No, he isn't. He's moving to the right. So is Shawshank. This is not good for Strendy. He is 25 seconds clear, but more importantly, that delta won't matter as that was Sager juking a move into the pit lane and then choosing not to go in, just trying to catch some people behind him off guard. As not gonna lie. Shawshank and Baked Potato might be asking a bit too much of themselves with 3 laps of racing potentially left to go on fresh softs. Maybe pitting might not be the best idea, lads. They probably were expecting everyone else behind them to pit as well, but Stager, BK19, Pirate SG and Facecrack are choosing to stay out on the on the hard tires. But these 2 lads, if they can get those soft tires up to the window, 3 laps, hot lap every single lap, surely it's going to be some sort of shootout towards the end as Shawshank and Baked Potato try to slice their way through the field.
We're in for a good one. We're in for basically an unranked session now. 3-lapper unranked, so even more chaos. No DRS, so it's just going to be through and through tires and just pure racecraft and racing here. No DRS, no external assistance is going to be present for these drivers to use for an overtake. So we're going to have a look and see who's all pit after the safety car. We got some new runners on fresh softs. You got Monk, who's made a pit stop. Existence, Heisenberg, Ritesh, Abhi and Duke have made a pit stop in the safety car so far. Strendy's opted to come to the pits. Maybe he did have an extra pair of softs. Yeah, of course he did, because it was a one-shot qualifying. So all these drivers have a lot of fresh set of soft tires left. So it's no question that Strendy is going to pit. What is in doubt is that is Sager going to come out in front of Strendy or not? No, I think he's a bit too far back.
Wow.
That's a bit disappointing. Yeah, he's a bit too far ahead, and I think Strendy's got this pretty much covered now. Who's got a speeding gun in the safety car apparently? Just saw that pop up.
I'm proud of you. Whoever got that, I'm proud of you.
Whoever got that, you aren't alone.
You aren't alone, exactly. I think even if Sager had passed Strendy and he had gotten the position, I don't think... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying that's absolutely curtains, because he has anyways 3 laps of service penalty, and he has 3 laps of racing left as well. So yeah, it's going to be plum last for Shrey here from the looks of it, and if he doesn't serve that drive-through, it's going to be DSQ. So not much option but to just go all out in these 2 laps of racing he has, and then just serve the DT for non-disqualification purposes, if you will. As Strendy looks to be in the clear for the race win. But what are some plot lines do you see happening on this race restart itself? Some of the fresh soft runners maybe having a bite at the top step, not the top step, but on Podium, maybe see a charge from Baked Potato, who's the highest fresh soft runner on the grid right now. What do you think is going to play out in this restart?
Well, it's not going to be easy for Sager and BK19 to keep out those soft runners for very long, especially the likes of Baked Potato and Shawshank. Those hard tires are very difficult to keep in the prime operating temperature window during the safety car period because the speeds are so much lower. So the safety car restart is going to be crucial for those 2 drivers on the hard tires. And right now they're not really doing much to warm up. Actually they're doing a lot to warm up the tires because they have to. Pirate SG and Facecrack, though, on the other hand, are a little bit more calm because for them, they can't really warm up their tires, because if they do go too aggressive on the warm-up, they lose their tire life. And they've got 6 laps on those softs already. So ideally, they should be looking to conserve their tires because they've got another 3 laps or 2 or 3 laps of racing remaining. Shawshank and Baked Potato are very much in the clear. I think they can push without really much repercussions because they've got those fresh tires and they haven't really been pushing. If they get it into a good operating window, they might just be able to jump Facecrack and Pirate SG at the start as well. And their grip advantage will definitely help Shawshank and Baked Potato against Trendy.
We've seen some shuffling down the order. Sager's lost his car in the safety car.
Oh no!
to be fair to him, I just saw PSG like last week. It was Japan, and one of the top tier esports drivers in Rasmussen, Frederick Rasmussen, had spun under safety car as well. So you're not alone, Sager. You do have an esports driver for your company there. So, but yeah, a very rare instance of a driver losing it under safety car, which is again not too hard to do on this game with how the tires work.
Absolutely, and that is just means the another plotline emerges now. One less driver for all those soft runners to dispatch, as BK19 is the great Chinese wall standing in between Pirate SG and Strendy, the last line of defense for the.
We are gonna have to go on board with him for the race restart. To see
Surely
what
going on board Strendy does not make any difference. On fresh soft tires, he's just going to disappear into the distance. But we do have to keep an eye on BK19 and how he contends with the race start. It's going to be very, very important that he keeps those hard tires within the window. Weave, man, weave as if you've never weaved before, because that is going to be the difference maker. Baked Potato carrying a penalty doesn't help him too much either. The 3-second penalty, he'll be ruining the fact that he's picked up track limits, because the 3 seconds will be a lot more damaging, especially considering the grid is all bunched up now towards these final few laps.
Oh my god. BK almost having a collision with a very common friend to everyone here, Barrier, but try to get the temperature up. Is the safety car in this lap? I don't think so. We're going to have another lap.
It's going to be a lap after this.
That's unfortunate. Would have loved to see us restart on this lap, so we've had 3 laps of pure racing action. But yeah, just one more lap to hold out for, and that just means more wear to the soft runners who are on 7-lap tires. And Baked Potato must be rubbing his hands together, trying to see how he can plan this restart, because he's the best bet to get the P2 there. Excuse me, to get the P2 there, because he's on the freshest compound of tire. But it seems that Shawshank might actually have the pace advantage as well. So yeah, 2 drivers to keep an eye out for, Shawshank and Baked Potato, even Lelouch for that matter. Both the Alfa Romeos itself, I've noticed, have gone very strongly in this race, providing a lot of action, drama, and a lot of racecraft as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting restart.
Dare I say you've jinxed them right there, Moto. These last few laps. That's going to be, we're going to keep a keen eye on Alfa Romeo and see where they finish in this race. But surely this is the lap in which the safety car comes in, so it's going to be paramount now for Sager. Well, Sager has found himself in a bad position now. He's got fresh soft runners behind
everyone around him.
He's gone from effectively podium to P last, I'm going to assume, by the end of this race, unless something great happens up front. But now BK19, all eyes on the Aston Martin driver. Dare I say, a lot of pressure riding on his shoulders now, because not only... the prospect of a win is probably a bit too much for BK unless Trendy makes a mistake on the race start. But more importantly... it's going to be a case of how long he can keep those guys behind, or if he can keep those.
He's spun again.
And Sager is last. Even before the safety car restart, oh dear. But yes, I think...
to BK. Yeah.
We should stay on board either Pirate SG or BK on the race start, because it's going to be interesting to see how good of a start he gets. I think Strendy has led the pack away there.
Doesn't get that good of a restart, this Strendy. Not good of a restart.
He's punching up a lot, and BK19 is hot on his tail right now.
It's free for all behind him. They're going 4-3 wide there momentarily.
BK's already lost the position.
Yeah, he's lost the position to the Haas driver.
Carry on, Moto.
Yeah, a lot of things going on in this race. It's hard to commentate when you have so much action going on. But yeah, a lot of cars getting nervy there. Maybe the tires weren't up to temperature, and they overestimated how much grip they had. So yeah, a lot of drivers out of shape. But Shawshank has got a brilliant restart. He's already up to P2, hot behind Strendy's tail there. And both of these drivers are sort of equally worn tires here. So it's a battle. Trendy does have to defend for this. He's had a calm race throughout the entire race, and now he's got a Ferrari all over his mirrors there, trying to get the move done. Is the Ferrari is looking very pacey here, and yeah, these last 2 laps are going to be really, really interesting as the Ferrari rounds up the Williams slowly and surely.
Yeah, if you have been watching the stream so far, do keep it tuned in, because now is probably the most exciting period of the race, not only for us in the commentary box, but also for you in the chat. This is going to be a big shootout. Look at the gap that Shawshank and Stendy have pulled on everyone else. Almost a second clear within 2 sectors. This is a great little battle evolving at the front now. Stendy has to keep his eyes peeled now on those mirrors, because Shawshank is going to make a move at any point in time. Just having a look up the inside.
On the brakes and the Williams driver there for the Ferrari, so much more late, and that's allowed him to get really close behind. Is he going to go for the move here? He's 1.5 tenths behind. Freddy goes defensive sort of, and Shawshank just hangs a bit further back, trying to get a good exit here. Is he going to straight line the exit? Yes, he does. It's a full exit out of the turn 2. Is he going to get the move done into turn 4 using all his ERS and more? Freddy goes defensive again, blocks that off. I think the lack of DRS compounded for that.
Oh, Duke is retired.
Duke who's out. But yeah, Shawshank is still hot behind Stendy. He's trying to get the light lines through all these S's. Crosses the Stendy into the hairpin. Gets the move done. Squeezes Stendy out. Is he going to go for the switchback? Doesn't quite have the traction to do so. Still a few more corners to go. This battle is not yet over. As Stendy goes further back behind Shawshank there. Is he going to get the move done into turn 11? No DRS available to him. Only slipstream and ERS. I think he's a bit too far back. I think Shawshank has got the move done here.
It's not all over yet. I think there's going to be one last opportunity in the final corner. I think that's going to be the last opportunity, assuming Stendy can keep it close behind Shawshank, which he does. Also, important thing to keep in mind that Stendy has a lot more ERS right now than Shawshank does. Shawshank weaving all over the track, looking to break the slipstream as much as possible. I think he's done a good job, though.
Is Stendy going to go for the send here? He doesn't. He hangs back. I think that's it. I think Shawshank's done enough.
Shawshank just runs a little bit wide. Not too much of a problem, though, as he comes across the line, hugs the pit wall.
Fast slap as well.
What a finish there for Stendy and Shawshank, as someone's dropping a lot of positions there. I think that might be because of the penalty.
Yeah, just went DRS enabled. So it doesn't matter because the race is over. But my oh my, what was that race finish? I don't think I'd ever seen a prospect of Shawshank ever winning this one. But what a restart. He played that to perfection. Wow.
Absolutely. What a finish there for Shawshank after pretty much being down and out in the sprint race, recovering well there. And now he is on not only the podium, but he's on the top step. So brilliant race there by Shawshank. The safety car definitely helped him out. Sai, also go through the race director when you can. We do have to also pick up on that, of course. So have a quick look through the race director there. But I think your race winner is Shawshank Stendy after leading the race for pretty much 90% of the race, almost until the last lap, and being 26 seconds clear at one point. Unfortunately, that safety car has been the bane of his existence, because he has lost that P1 ultimately. Unfortunate for the Williams driver, but he does pick up P2 in the end, which is a good result. Pirate SG picks up P3 after all things considered. It initially looked like Sager would get P2, but then Sager unfortunately had a couple of spins. Then it looked like Big Potato might get it. Then it looked like a couple of other drivers might get it, like BK19. But in the end, Pirate SG steals that P3. Although I think Big Potato did finish P3 or P4, but he had to drop down because of penalties. BK19 did P4 after a good recovery drive. Face Crack P5. Big Potato P6. Monk P7. Existence P8. Lelouch P9. And Swatcat P10. That rounds off your top 10. Sager, Ritesh, Abhi 20. Heisenberg, Shrey, and I think the rest of the drivers did DNF. I don't think Duke, Shrey, Jose Hiro, Maverick or AJ finished the race. I think towards the end there, with all those battles occurring all over, we just missed the fact that Duke and Shrey had an incident somewhere and retired. Both drivers retired.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what kind of an incident that was.
That last lap battle was way too enticing to look away from, so we might have missed that. But what a race. And this race just goes to show what a perfect display of the sprint format, what a sprint format can offer, because we have drivers out of position, which just propels for a more exciting race as they choose to battle their way through the field. But it's been a fantastic race, a bit of a few downer moments here and there where the gaps did open up, but that last lap surely made up for everything else, and we have a winner. we have a winner, and dare I say, we do have a driver of the day as well, in my opinion. But yeah, I think the podium drivers are just joining us here in the com box, waiting on P2 and P3. If you could just get them on the in the com box soon enough, that'd be great. And yeah, what a great race that was, folks. And Aitzil, what are your thoughts after that? All that, because it has been a hectic race as well.
Yep, the sprint format definitely delivering. That was a good test drive, if you will, of the sprint race format. Definitely gave us exactly what we needed, and it proves that you can start anywhere on the grid in the sprint race and pretty much make the most of it. And I'm trying to get the other two drivers into the VC, but I think we can get the podium interview started because Shawshank is available right now. Oh, we do have Shendy as well. Okay, we're starting to get all the drivers into the VC now, so we'll have a talk with all of them shortly. All right, I guess we're just waiting on Pirate SG right now, who's the final driver to join the comms box. But there we go. That is the end of the race. We're in the podium interview now. We have our 3 podium drivers here, and we'll start off with P3 Pirate SG. Congratulations on P3. That was a difficult race for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, after the disappointing results in the first 2 races, it feels good to have a podium position. I would like to thank my friends, Lelouch, Infamous as a whole. It was a good race from everyone. Everyone kept it clean. So yeah.
Absolutely. Talk us through your sprint race. How did that go for you?
Actually, in the sprint race, actually, I was like defending a lot from P3 and P4. I think Fake Potato. Yeah, the whole race like went defending, and luckily I was able to defend from him, and finishing P3, starting P3, I think was a good position, and I finished P3 in the race also.
Yeah, good race overall for you. Congratulations on P3. You managed both races very well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Moving on to P2, we have Strendy. Unfortunate commiserations, my friend. You were 26 seconds clear at the front of the grid before the safety car, and everything came crashing down after that. Talk us through your race.
I was looking strong in the qualifying. It went fine. I think I was P3 or P2. Then sprint race was really nice because Shawshank crashed, so something happened. I started on pole. The race was very nice for me. It was going very smooth. Like I was 30 seconds ahead of the second guy, but then the safety car messed me up. I didn't have any advantage, so that messed me up.
Yep, but it was looking very good. You had a commanding race in the sprint race. You and Stray pretty much led the field away. Do you think that your teammate could have had more of an influence if we didn't have the incident at the beginning of the main race?
I don't know what happened to him. What happened? I'm not sure.
I believe he had an incident at the beginning of the second race, so maybe Stray could have had more of an influence on the overall result if he was able to provide some cover from drivers behind.
Yeah, probably. He was a very fast driver, and he was looking very strong. But also, I would like to thank Lelouch and Infamous as a whole. They helped me a lot. So yeah.
Well, congratulations, commiserations again. It looked like a strong race for you. Had it pretty much in the bag, but towards the end there, Shawshank just pipped you at the line. So congratulations regardless on P2.
Yeah, nice dive bomb, man. All right, see ya.
A little bit of a comment there from Strendy, but we come now to P1, someone who definitely at the beginning of the race weekend wouldn't have expected to be here, especially after that, after the wing damage that you picked up in the sprint race. Shawshank, congratulations on the top step of the podium. Congratulations on P1. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, thank you so much. The sprint race was good to begin with, but then someone just tapped me in turn 2, and then I just lost it. Then I had to pit in the last lap. But the main race, Heisenberg and I were starting together, so just keep your head down and just move through the field. A lot of incidents happening around helped me, of course, and the safety car, yeah, was my good luck charm.
Yep, absolutely. And was it just a case of in the first race just trying to make the most of a bad situation, because it did seem like you were charging through the field after that incident at the beginning?
Yeah, I just wanted to keep the tires, in shape. Just stretch the gap as much as I can, and then just pit for softs and push 10 qualifying laps.
Absolutely. And the safety car period, what was going through your mind when that safety car came out? Because you pitted, and I think Baked Potato pitted just after you, and Sager and BK19 obviously got ahead. So surely in your mind you must have thought about having to deal with those two cars before you had to deal with Shendy.
Yeah, so my goal was just to get a podium P3, at least some good points. But then just before the line, I think everyone's engine got cut off, the acceleration got cut off, and then few people collided. So that just gave me a clean run into Strandy.
Well, regardless, great race from
Yeah.
you. P1 to cap off a solid weekend, a lot of racing action for you. I think you were driver of the day as well. And I think that's well deserved because after that incident in the sprint race, I think you put on a magnificent recovery. So well done. Congratulations on P1. And Ferrari takes Bahrain for the second time this year.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think with that, our coverage of the Tier 2 race comes to an end. Thank you very much for watching. It has been a great race. The sprint race format has definitely put on a lot of brilliant racing action for us this weekend. It has been a magnificent show of racecraft from all the Tier 2 boys as well, and it was riveting all until the final corner. Moto, your final thoughts on what was, in my opinion, a great race?
Yeah, a great race through and through. A lot of action, a lot of overtakes all around. I mean, Bahrain living up to its name. Well, not entirely because we didn't have rain, but yeah, great overtakes all around. And yeah, it just goes to show that the sprint will work in the game, unlike it not working all the time in real life. But yeah, the game is a different story, and we certainly did see that tonight. And yeah, we do go live again, folks, at 8:30 or 8 o'clock at night tonight for the Tier 1 race. Same track, same format, same sprint for 10 laps. So do tune in for that. It's going to be a banger as well, I assure you. And do follow us on our socials, linked in the description. This is Moto, and it's been a good day, good race, good action all throughout. And this is IRC signing out. Bye.